morning. My name is Calvin Wilson. Today I will be telling you about high blood pressure, giving you information about high blood pressure, which is the same as hypertension. I will be telling you what is hypertension, risk factors for hypertension, types of hypertension, measures that we can put in place that reduce our risk for developing hypertension, and treatment plans available for hypertension, how we can reduce our risk for developing complications of high blood pressure. Before moving on to that, I would just tell you a little bit about the effect of high blood pressure on our society today. According to Osborne Medical Surgical Nursing, 67 million Americans have been diagnosed with high blood pressure. That is, they are living with high blood pressure. One thing you should know that high blood pressure can be asymptomatic. Some people live with high blood pressure, they don't even know that they have it. Okay? So, high blood pressure has caused a lot of death and disabilities in our societies today. One good news is that it is treatable and preventable with the right information, and implementing those information reduce your risk of developing complications. What is high blood pressure? First of all, I would tell you blood pressure, the normal range of blood pressure is 120/80. Any elevation, sustained elevation, is considered high. That is high blood pressure. Okay? So, high blood pressure is the sustained elevation in your blood pressure. So, blood pressure is the force exerted on the walls of the artery. That happens when your heart is pumping blood to the rest of the body. That force is developed. Sustained elevation will be considered high blood pressure. Now, I will tell you factors that put us at risk for developing high blood pressure. I will start by telling you family history, age. These are no modifiable risk factors, something that you cannot change. Your race. There are more African American men being diagnosed with high blood pressure as compared to other races. Gender. There are more men diagnosed with high blood pressure as compared to women. So there's no modifiable. Obesity. This is a major epidemic in our society today. A lot of our kids are growing already obese. They are at risk for developing high blood pressure. So, we need to put a system in place that will take care of what our children eat. Reducing the sodium, high sodium or salt consumption put you at risk for developing high blood pressure. Eating food high in cholesterol, fat, they all put us at risk for developing high blood pressure. Cigarette smoking and tobacco use put us at risk. Cigarette, have a substance in it that elevate your blood pressure. Nicotine is a substance in cigarette that elevate your blood pressure. So that puts you at risk for developing high blood pressure. Diabetes and kidney disease put us at risk for developing high blood pressure. When your kidney shut down, your blood pressure will elevate. And then another factors that put us at risk is inactivity. Doing nothing, not exercising, nothing, put you at risk also for developing high blood pressure. Stress. Stress is another factor. You need to know how to control stress. Not having enough sleep. These are few of the risk factors of developing high blood pressure. Even though there are a lot of risk factors, but these are just few risk factors that put us at these are few factors that put us at risk for developing high blood pressure. And what can we do? What can we do to reduce our risks for developing high blood pressure? This is what I'm going to tell you right now. Exercise regularly. Exercise reduces our risks for developing high blood pressure. Diet. Watch what we eat. What we eat. Food that are high in sodium, cholesterol, fats. They all put us at risk for developing high blood pressure. Okay? Then, if you exercise regularly, you eat food that are not high in sodium, fat, and cholesterol, you are on the right path. Take your medication as prescribed. If you've been diagnosed with high blood pressure, you want to take your medication. A lot of men do not like to take medication because of the long-term side effect of high blood pressure medication. One, it makes you inactive, especially in bed. A lot of men do not want that. Even myself, I don't want that. No, I would not take that medication easily. But you have to, even though it makes you inactive. Not a young man like me. No, I don't want that. I want to remain active. So I exercise regularly, watch what I eat. And you can do the same. Watch what you eat, remain active, because you don't want to be inactive in bed. That's very important. That's why you see a lot of men coming down with stroke. No. Disable you. So you need to put measures in place. Know the right information and implement it. Make it part of your daily activities. Walking 10 minutes, 3 to 5 times a week is very important. Now I will tell you about treatment available. Treatment for high blood pressure, mainly your diet. If you want to stay away from medication, diet and exercise, that regulate your blood pressure. Reduce your risk of developing complications from high blood pressure. Take your medication regularly. Some may not afford the medication. It may be expensive, but get to the county, social service. See where you can get something, where you can get help from to get your medication. This is very important. There are a lot of people willing to help you get your medication. Get to the county if you can afford it. So this is very important. If you take your medication, you reduce that risk of developing complications from high blood pressure. That will help you even prolong your life. What I want you to know today is that the sustained elevation in your blood pressure is high blood pressure. It's considered high blood pressure. There are two types of high blood pressure. One is the primary and secondary. Primary is when your blood pressure is elevated because of age, which is the wear and tear. As you get older, you can do nothing about that. Your gender, your family history. And secondary is caused by underlying factors like kidney disease and other sickness. But when you treat the underlying factor, your blood pressure returns to normal. Okay? And then anybody can develop high blood pressure. Anybody can develop high blood pressure. The good news is that it is treatable and preventable. Even though it has caused a lot of death and disabilities, but notwithstanding, with the information you have, you can put a system in place to help reduce your risk of developing complications from high blood pressure. High blood pressure or complications from high blood pressure. With this information implemented, making it part of your daily activities, will reduce your risk. Thank you.